So, good news. I got these from an American guy that was selling them in Michigan. He gave me the box for like $10. It's M4 by 20, but when you measure the thickness, it's like 3.6. I think they come a little bit shorter by 20. I try to do it with the 22s. The 22s that I have there, they're exact fit, but too tight. Like they won't let you go in there. So what I always do, or a recommendation when you're gonna use roller bearings, you have to make sure that it rolls outside the box before you throw it in the engine. What I mean is that when I first did it, some of them were very tight because since I'm using old connecting rods from, remember, 3,000 miles ago, we put new ones on that one. Two of the connecting rods were kind of like tight. It wouldn't spin when you torque it to specs, 22 or whatever. These two right here are no good. These connecting rods right here. This one turned blue on the bottom. Remember that? It got blue a little bit on the top too. Oil starvation. And then that one that looks perfect is no good. Believe it or not, somewhere these two might have been running together, but it's like it has like a little twist to it. So for some sort of reason, that one's not working. Now, I ordered some because I was going to put them at 22. I ordered them from China, and they're gonna take some time to get here. They're stainless steel, hardened, high quality metals, and this is what I got going. You see how they're see that? That one's actually one of the best ones that came out. This one has a little side to side play, pero no up and down. You cannot have up and down. Up and down, no. Side to side, you can have a little bit, which I like it to have. This one actually spins a little fast, pero what you gotta make sure is that when you're spinning it, it's good. Now it does spin. Let me see if I could do this like this. Oh, give me a second. So I gotta squeeze my thighs. All right. Hold up. All right. So it spins, because I'm doing it off of like a little jack stand there. It spins. Like you can see that it's not jammed up, that it's smooth. Now, when I first put them, why you have to check all the raw journals that right here would have been good to either delete that main bearing, leave it in the air like that, and just run off these fours, because they have oil ports. These are main, these are rod journals. This one doesn't have no port in the middle where the thrust bearing goes. And Ford, I remember that they use three. They use one in the middle and two on the sides. But this one right here, I guess, gets fed oil by, you see how this one has like a little curve that pushes that way through there. And then it has like a little sleeve over here. That's where the oil guy goes through. But it has no oil port on the middle one. That's crazy because I've seen crankshafts that do. Everything else has like two and everything. But the other crankshaft that I have in there, they had a big old wheel over here that I think that it was like throwing it off. Another big weight like this one over here. And it was just, to me, it was too heavy. So I was going to cut these like an anchor. Like cut them more, like you leave it like, like anchor from a ship. You go like that, or a boat. And then you bring it in, do it like a little oval and cut them. Make it nice, like a little nice. But you do want some type of weight. You don't want too much. But so far, I'm happy. You can tell them that the Gypsy Kid, he did it. But you got to make sure it spins out the box. Because if it doesn't spin out the box, it ain't going to spin inside the box. There's where the clutch goes. Everything's exactly the same. It looks exactly the same. Everything. This exactly matches. The only difference is that, like I said, they'll have more of these sticking out right here, or that big old wheel, because there's the third, because from the pulley, no, hold on. 1, 2, 3. There's the one that I was having problems with because I had the big old wheel here and then said this would have another crank there. So it's going to be lighter and it's going to spin quicker. More lower torque too, since there's less friction on these. Now I only have, I have all 4 of them, but remember one of them is twisted and the other one I guess right next to it got twisted too, because yesterday I was having a hard time with this one. And I took the one from this one out, which is this one over here. That's what I figured out, that it was very not too well. So now it's spinning freely, because you got to make sure it spins freely. So when you're in there, because remember before you throw the crankshaft, that you have the pistons already in the sleeves and all that, you got to put the grease inside the rod, and make sure it's not silicone grease, because it has to melt. So and then you lay them out over there, and they're 39 bearings each with complement bearing style, which means no cage. So these are the bearings that I'm using. They have 94 quantity. That's what he had told me. Yo, there's only 94 there. The M4s. These are the ones that I'm using all the way around, no cage. And man, it rolls smooth. But like I said, you have to make sure, and they're thicker too. You have to make sure that it rolls. Now, if the ones that come over there, they're a different thickness, and then I have to try to find these right here. If not, I'm pretty, because I only got one box, only gives you for 2, but he only had 1 box when I asked him for another. But he told me where I could buy it if anything. But I had already ordered it because China gave me 200 for 40 bucks with shipping and everything. And stainless steel and high quality, none of that stuff. And you know, you take them apart and everything is still good. Like that's the main. This one right here, rod, and look at that, spinning. That's how it's supposed to be before you throw it in there, because if you throw it in there and it's not spinning outside the box, when you put it in the box, you're gonna mess your shit up. So this one I had to grind down a little bit. Where is it? Right here. I had to grind down a little bit because some of that weld was like sticking out, and I didn't like it with the bell sander. But I put electrical tape, really a nice amount right here, so you don't scratch the journal. Over here too, I made sure that you see a little welding line, or however they put it, that it wasn't sticking out over here. A little bit on the side. Make sure that it rolls smooth. It has to roll smooth. If it's not rolling smooth, you didn't do a good job. Remember, this goes up and down. See, this one's softer than that one. And when it gets oil, it's gonna be even better. But that's what we call roller bearing. Remember, and it's rolling off the jacks, which is not a good idea. But this is pretty tough. So there you have it. I believe we have done some accomplishments. I was gonna cut these off and just leave the ends, but I don't want to go and balance it now and all that, so I just left it like that. I was gonna make them thinner, but when the piston comes, which I have it inside the car, when I take out the pistons, I gotta see, if not, I gotta grind down this and then do some lines here that they do, or zigzag, like X's, like that. And what that does, it holds oil. Don't really do much, but yeah, I was gonna make them thin, sharp, so I could cut the air. I was gonna sharpen here. The edges, you can sharpen them. This one, not that side. This side, I don't recommend it, because you see how it's flat right here, not like here. This is for the timing. So if you take that off, that's why I say if you're gonna do an anchor, you have to start like from over here, and then now that style. Which I was gonna do it, but I'm not gonna do it because I already made it lighter by eliminating that big old crank balancer over here, and by this one over here coming off too. So just by that and this, it's already lighter. Just by those two right there. So we have made progress, and the rod journals are also instead of 52, they're 47 millimeters. So I had to go from 47 and fill into to 55. I didn't go to 52 because I deleted the rod journals. This rolls directly on the crank. I don't want no bushings on there. Now there's many ways of doing it. You could use a thicker bushing, but this is the style that I like because it helps roll when all the oil falls down and the pistons are up. And you're gonna do a cold start or turn it off, and it's at low oil pressure. Now this car gives you 40 psi's on idle. When you drive it, gives you to 60. But if you're not getting a good, I mean, I've never seen that, but this car right here, because on my semi truck I get less oil pressure on idle. On my semi truck I get like 35, 25, around there. When you go or cold start, it'll go to like 60, 70. When you turn it off and you turn it back on, and I run it at 51, which is aero tune. But anyhow, that's like you twisted out the block, the gear. But anyhow, this is how I have it. And to tell you the truth, this one right here is the one that spins the loveliest, front and back. This one's spinning too lovely. This one actually makes less noise than the other one, but it doesn't have too much side-to-side play. It has a little bit, but not up and down. Up and down, none of them have. And they're torqued as specification. But it has to have some type of side-to-side play. So, anyhow, this right here is in good shape. I just wish that how they did those oil ports there and there, that it would have been in the middle so it could fall in directly into there. But I gotta do probably the little grooves up here. Hold on. A little groove up here, because usually they have like a little groove on this side so oil could go in there. They don't have them on the bottom, because if you have them on the bottom, it's gonna come out. Because remember, this spins like this. This stays always on the top. So what you could do is you could do 3, so it could have 3 oil ports going inside, one in the middle, one over here, and one over here. So oil could go from these sides to in there, but for some sort of reason, they go on the screw. But I'm not gonna lie to you, these connecting rods, I wish that Ford would have made them wider and not so thin, because I don't see it could go like this, side to side. It cannot go up and down play. No up and down play. No up and down play. And it's gonna roll instead of take away the material. ¿Me entiende? And when we take them apart, because I've already done this one, in perfect shape. In perfect shape. So I'm waiting for the coils for that one because I found that little short, but so we're just waiting for some parts. Other than that, this baby ready. This baby ready. Look at that. So always test them in the outside of the block, because once you put it in, you won't be able to do this to it because it has the piston there. The only thing that it would be able to do is the rotation of the piston, which is like this. And that you're gonna have to do it through over here. You're gonna have to put the pulley or the crank bolt and spin it through here. So it has to spin like that. It has to be able to do that. Has to be able to do that. When you're spinning it, it has to be able to move freely. That way and this way. And it has to torque. This one actually torqued up good. Seems good. Another thing is that if you see that it's too tight and you're using used connecting rods, make sure that the connecting rods ain't twisted. So this is already ready. Just make sure it rolls outside the box before you put it inside the box, because the only way that you'll be able to do them is with the block out. Put it out like that, unless you're gonna push them in one by one. But if one of them goes in twisted, you won't tell. The other way is you have the connecting rod, you have like a string where the screw goes, and you push it up. When you push it up, I mean, you can do it the other way with grease, you know, but this way it holds on like that, like a little U, goes on in there with all the bearings already. You have all 4 of them already ready. And you just go in there, push them up. Once you have the top ones, you put on the top part the grease, and you start sticking them under. 39 it takes for perfect, because I grabbed the connecting rod, I put the cap on it, closed it up, and I checked it how many could go in there, so it doesn't like warp or like, you know, like lift up or nothing like that. So it goes in like a perfect diameter. And this one went 39. So I'm actually excited.